Hi, babe. Before we get started today, if you are loving the podcast and you want to go deeper, you can now get full access to all of my exclusive content within the membership completely free for 7 whole days. Click the link in my bio and unlock the vault. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 127. I'm very glad you're here. Welcome. So before I start, I just want to say a big thank you to all of you who have already joined the new Empower State Boot Club. How exciting. I think there's about 60 of us in there at the minute, and I'm really looking forward to starting with our first ever book, which is Make It Happen by Jordan 11. And if you've not already joined and you're thinking about joining and you just want to see if it's your vibe, which it is, guys, you can go to the last episode, and I actually recorded the introduction to the book and posted it publicly, just that one, so that you could get a bit of a taster for it. But it is literally $2 a month, guys, which is about £1.50. Because I just wanted to create something where I can have a greater impact this year. That's very important to me. Very high up on my list for 2025 is creating more impact. So although I already have a Facebook community, I wanted something that was a bit more interactive, a bit more going on. So I've created this group at a super low cost so that you can come inside and you can refocus on your self-development journey. I'm not doing this to make a profit out of it. I'm not actually making anything from it at all at this point. In fact, it's actually costing me to run it because I've decided to do it on an amazing platform called School, where I host my membership, because I want it to be really interactive and I want you to get the most from it. But I am more than happy to do that because you are the people who've brought me to this very happy, very content point in my career and in my business and in my life. So if you've not joined us yet, come inside, and we're starting our first book on April the 1st. I've also sold out all of the places on Consciously Wealthy, which is my 4-week program to rewire for wealth. However, if you think, shit, I should have joined that, and you missed it because I only did 6 spaces for this first one, and you're thinking it's something that you might like to do in the future and you want to know first when the next round of people are able to join, just drop me an email or a DM. My email is empowerstatepodcast@gmail.com, or you can just send me a message on Instagram and just write Consciously Wealthy, and then I'll just write your name down. And when I do the next round of that program, I'll let you guys know first. So this week, I'm going to talk about the Law of Detachment. Law of Detachment is really important when it comes to manifestation. It's a big player in the process of manifestation. And it's also something that's very misunderstood, I believe. People sometimes think of the Law of Detachment being like you sort of ignore, you don't even think about it. You act as if you're not bothered about receiving your manifestation. It's like, yeah, I don't even care if I've got it or not. That's not Law of Detachment. That's confusion. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about Law of Detachment and how to use it, and how to use it in accordance with the Law of Assumption. So when I'm telling you how to manifest, a big part of that is put your fucking attention on what you want. Stop looking at things that you don't want and start focusing that attention and those thoughts and the feelings in alignment with what you do want. So I can see why so many people get confused about the Law of Detachment, because us as manifestation coaches all over the place are saying, focus on your vision, make sure you're focusing your attention, putting your thoughts on what you want. And then you're hearing this message of like, and then let it go. Let it go. Just let it go. And it's like, well, how the fuck are you supposed to keep your attention on something and also let it go? That doesn't make any sense. They're the complete opposites. So let me take that burden off your shoulders. You don't need to do that. You don't need to figure out from now on how to keep your attention on your vision while simultaneously taking it off your vision and ignoring it and letting it go. That's bullshit. So what the Law of Detachment actually is about releasing your attachment to the lack of it. So when you are in a place of attachment you are looking all the time around you for evidence that it's there. You're not having faith in your vision. You're not accepting that it's already done. You are going into your vision and you're getting nice and crystal clear and you're connecting to it for maybe 5 or 10 minutes and you're feeling all the feelings. And then you're coming out of it and going, where the fuck is it? It's not there. That's a place of attachment. When you need to see something in your 3D environment to prove to you that it's either on the way or that it's already done. And what that causes is for you to start then doubting that it's coming, doubting that it's already done, doubting your own power, because you feel really good when you go into the visualization, if that's something that you do. You feel really good when you're affirming it. And then as soon as you stop doing that, as soon as you're not in that moment of practicing some kind of manifestation technique, you then start looking at your circumstances and reacting to them and getting yourself in that wanting and needing energy. And if you've ever had some bloke texting you relentlessly that you didn't fancy, you didn't want to go out with, you'll know the feeling of that. You are pushed away from that lad. Like, I'm not naming any lads, by the way, guys. That was just a generic example. But that person's neediness and that person's want to have you makes you feel repelled from them. It pushes you further away. So when you are in that energy of wanting and needing, you're really not able to have it because you're always keeping it away from you. So law of detachment is not about detaching from what you desire. It's about detaching from not having it, from living as if it's not already done. So that sort of joins in with embodiment. So when we talk about embodiment, that is the kind of the part of the manifestation process that I teach, which is vision, identity, embodiment, and faith. When people get to the embodiment part of it, that's when they start to see big shifts. Because by embodying the vision, by being the version of you who already has that desire, whatever that desire might be, you are getting rid of your attachment to the old identity, to the not having it, because you're no longer being dictated by your circumstances. You're no longer being dictated by your 3D reality on how you speak, how you think, how you act, how you move, the decisions you make. You're not doing that anymore. So by embodying that version of you who already has something, you are in a state of detachment. You're not stressing about it. You're not stressing about it because it's done. You already know it's done. So actually, being in a state of detachment just means that you have got an absolutely profound assumption and knowing that your manifestation is done. And that stops you from then having to interfere with it and to constantly look for evidence of it in your 3D reality. You just know it's absolutely inevitable for you. So you're not worried about when is it going to be here, when is it going to be here. You already feel on the inside as if you've got it because you're so aligned with that assumption and you embodying that version of you. It actually doesn't matter whether you never experience that in the 3D, but you absolutely will. That's how manifestation works. But you're not asked because you're already experiencing it every single day. You are already that version of you. You're not waiting for permission from your 3D to be that version. And this sort of takes me on to another part in that when you are manifesting something, you think that what you're manifesting is the outcome. You really focus on the outcome. You think, right, well, I'm manifesting, I don't know, the new job, the new dream job. But really, what manifestation is not getting something. It's becoming someone. It's becoming the version of you. That's what it's for. You know, that's the purpose of desire. That's the purpose of having these desires. It's not to collect more shit or to collect more accolades or to have that specific thing that you believe you really want. It's actually to become that person who has it. What the purpose of manifestation is purely for your own growth. And that's why if you are embodying the version of you and you are already accepting without a single doubt that your manifestation is done immediately as soon as you decide it is, that will put you through a process usually of discomfort. And the reason for that discomfort is for your growth. It's for that purpose. So think about a caterpillar and a butterfly. The caterpillar has the potential to become a butterfly, but it's not about a length of time. I mean, obviously there is a length of time involved in that, so it's probably a bit of a poor example of this, but what creates the butterfly is the process in the middle where it's being practically crushed by its own cocoon that it built, that it decided to go into. Nobody's put it in that cocoon. It's climbed onto the branch and it's decided, now's the time, I'm ready to grow. And it's got in there, and that's where its wings have formed. Now, if you broke that cocoon open too early and let that butterfly out, it'd just die because it wouldn't have the ability to fly. It might have the wings, but it doesn't have the muscle behind the wings to flap them. You have to go through the middle part of becoming that version in order to actually receive it. Because if you say, let's say, for example, you wanted to receive, I'm going to use my own current goal. I want to experience a 50k month. And it's not because I want 50k. Obviously I would love 50k. That'd be fabulous. But that's not what it's about for me. I understand that getting that outcome requires me to become a different level of myself, and that's what I want. I want to become the next level of me. If somebody just said, right, well, I'll give you 50 grand today, I've not grown. Nothing's happened. I've not, just because I've had a 50 grand month, because somebody just give it to me and said you don't have to do anything. First of all, I'm not going to feel aligned with it. It's just going to feel a bit icky, and I'm not going to be comfortable. And then because I'm subconsciously not wired for that, well, I am actually, because I'm wiring that in right now, but just as an example, I'm not going to be able to keep it. I won't be able to keep it. I will subconsciously start to disperse it as fast as possible because I haven't grown into the version of me. So right now, I'm really focusing in my life on how can I operate at that level? How can I embody that version of me who makes 50 grand a month? Because I want to become her. Yes, I want the 50k a month, but I want to become that version of me more than I want the outcome. And if you can shift your perspective to that, that's really going to help you get better results when you're manifesting. Because some people are obsessing over the actual outcome. You're not going to feel that satisfaction that you believe you'll feel, that happiness, that contentment, if you haven't become that person in the process. So you have to detach from the identity that's brought you to this point. You can love that version of yourself. You can say thank you to that version of yourself for bringing you here. Because at one point, she was your vision version, whatever that is right now. Even if it's a negative one, you created her. You imagined the outcome and you stepped into behaving, speaking, acting, making decisions, dressing, walking, absolutely everything. You became her. You stepped into role as her. So if you don't like that, you can do the exact opposite now. You can step into the role of the person that has what you want. Just a quick break to tell you that I have launched a brand new coaching program, which is all about manifesting money. Consciously Wealthy, 4 weeks to rewire for wealth, and we're starting at the end of March. There are only 6 spaces in total, and some of those have already gone. So if you want to be a part of this life-changing program that took me from red letters to 12k in just a few months, click the link in my bio to save your space now. But you have to let that identity that brought you to this point die. Like, I know that sounds harsh, but you've got to release your attachment to this identity that you are in now, because this version of you is not the one who is going to take you to the next level. She's just not. This version of me right now I'm actually in the process, I'm in the cocoon of becoming the woman who gets paid 50 grand a month. And it's fucking uncomfortable. It's not comfortable at all. I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone. I'm doing things that maybe I wouldn't normally do. I'm speaking it out loud in front of a big podcast audience, and I'm saying I'm having a 50 grand month. Like, that's how absolutely sure I am. So now my work is to detach from that old identity completely, catch myself when I keep stepping back into it, and really just focus on my vision and detach from the lack of it not being real now. So when I'm faced with a decision, I have to decide to act in the complete assumption that it's already done. And I'm detaching from the lack of it. So I don't need to look around my 3D and think, oh, I don't know about that. Can I do that? Well, would she do it? If the answer's yes, I do that. If the answer's no, I don't do it. So that's what the law of detachment is. It's detaching from the lack of it. It's detaching from the old identity that is not going to take you to the next level. That's what it is. It's not taking your attention away from your vision, not at all. The more that you are in your vision, the more that you operate from there, the more that you live there most of the time, the less you are in the wanting and needing energy, because you're already experiencing it. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between a quote-unquote real or imagined experience. It doesn't have the capacity to differentiate. That's why when you think about biting into a lemon, you start slavering, because you can taste the sourness. That's why if you watch a scary film, your heart starts racing. That's why if you watch a video on TikTok or maybe on the telly where it's an upsetting emotional scene, you get upset, even though you know that that's not a part of your reality. It's not real. It's not 3D. But you still have the ability to connect to that, and your subconscious does not know the difference. So the more time you spend focusing on your vision, the more normal that becomes. And normalizing is what allows your subconscious to feel safe. It allows it to feel safe. And then once you've done that, it accepts the programming, the identity of that new version, and it will start to drive you forward to do those behaviors of that person, of that version of you naturally. It won't feel forced. It won't feel hard. It will feel natural. But you've got to put that conscious effort into changing that programming. And if you are constantly finding that you are finding it easy to stay in the vision while everything's nice and rosy in the 3D, but then as soon as something starts to crumble in the 3D, which is a part of it, your reality has got to crumble in order to give you a new one. But you look at it and you go, oh, no, I don't like that. That's scary. I'm going to start acting like, the old version of me. Well, don't be surprised when you don't get what you want, because you're dipping in and out all the time. Think of your subconscious mind as like an animal. It's like an animal that needs to be trained. It's very obedient. It's going to do what you say, but it's not intelligent enough to make those decisions on its own. It has to follow your lead, the lead of your conscious mind. So if you've got a new puppy and you're telling it to sit, and it sits down, and then you say, no, don't do that, and you're interrupting it, it's confused. It doesn't know what the fuck to do. It can never give you what you want because you keep changing the rules. You say sit down, it sits down, and then you change your mind and say, oh no, I don't want you to do that, and you push its bum back up. Well, how can it ever learn if you keep dipping in and out of and changing your mind on what you want? Are you going to remain faithful to the vision, or are you going to remain faithful to the lack of the vision, where you are in attachment? Are you going to detach from needing and wanting it and being a Beggy Mitchell? Or are you going to keep going back into that, oh no, I need the evidence in the 3D, or it's not real, and never getting anywhere? So that is the law of detachment. It's nothing to do with taking your eyes off the prize. Keep your eyes on the prize. Accept that the prize is already yours. Accept that you are the person who has the prize. Then you're in a state of detachment. So to practically apply that using the law of assumption, here's what you need to do. You need to decide on what it is that you would love, not what you think you can have, not what you think you might be able to achieve, because that's going to lead you into starting to plan out how you're going to get there, and then you're interfering. You're attaching to the how it's going to come in. You're trying to manipulate things. So you need to make your vision expansive so that you don't know how the fuck you're going to get it. You just know that it's what you love. You're excited about it. You're willing to consciously become that new person because it's exciting enough to make you want to do that. So first bit is your vision. Then you go into the identity and you observe in your vision, who are you? How do you speak? How do you dress? How do you interact with people? What decisions are you making? Have you got any hobbies? What are you doing? Observe yourself. How do you look after yourself? Do you have a routine? Have you got habits? What are you doing? And you have to remove anything that doesn't align with that and embody everything that does align with it. So that's the embodiment part. You're getting rid of all of the shit that doesn't align. And that's actually the biggest part of it. That is the biggest part of embodiment. People think, I need to be doing all these things. And there are things that you need to do. You need to, if she sits in coffee shops, works on a laptop, you need to be sitting in coffee shops and working on a laptop. But you also need to remove all of those other shitty behaviours and habits that you've got that are attached to the old identity. Because the more that you remove, the easier it is to embody. So that's the next part. And then you've got to have the faith. That's where you stop dipping in and out of the two different versions of reality. Stay in the one in your imagination until you see it in the 3D, by which point it will be completely normal. And this is another quick thing that I'm just going to add on here that's sort of related. When you're going into your vision, try not to focus on the moment that you get it. That's what I call the I've done it moment. Try not to focus on the moment that you pick up your new car, on the moment that you get the call to say that you've got your dream job, on the moment that you unlock the door for the first time on your dream house. Whatever it is that you're manifesting, make it normal, because in that moment, you've got very, very heightened emotions. You're super excited and the positive, and that's amazing. We want you to obviously experience that, and that is a part of it. But actually, even in excitement and giddiness, your subconscious doesn't feel safe. It wants to feel normal. It wants to feel calm. So what would life be like a year from getting your manifestation? What would it be like if you were already working in your dream job and you'd been there for a year? What would it be like if you were already with the love of your life and you moved into a house with them and you were at the point where you were sending him a text message asking him to check if the chicken's off in the fridge? Normalise what you desire so that your subconscious can feel safe with it. You don't need to make it about that big, explosive, exciting, giddy moment, because your subconscious is going to find it harder to normalise it. You need to make the assumption that this is normal for you, that you always get paid 50 grand a month, for example. That's my example. I'm not thinking about the moment where I'm going to ring up all my friends and family and say, fucking hell, I've just made 50 grand in a month. That's going to happen. But I'm focusing on the fact that I've already made 50 grand a month 5, 6, 7 times. What does it feel like? How do I show up as that person? You've got to normalise it for yourself. So that's what I've got for you this week. I hope that's helpful. If it has been helpful, do me a favour, please. Will you go and leave me a review? Because that is literally the only way that I can grow the podcast. And I think sometimes people think that I get loads more reviews. I've literally got 130 reviews in total for the whole time that I've had the podcast. So if you can add one to that, that will really make a world of difference to me, and I'll be forever grateful. So have a lovely week and come and join the book club, and I'll speak to you soon. See you later. Thanks for listening to today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed it and found value from it. If you did, I would be eternally grateful if you would go and leave me an Apple review. It's literally the only way that this podcast can grow, so I'm so grateful for every single one of your reviews. Have a great week.